Hello! Today I am going to be showing you how I use the Erin Condren Teacher Planner and adapt it for homeschooling. I got my first teacher planner last year and actually found it very easy to change up some of the pages and use it for my children. So today I have the Homeschooling Planner. This is the new one, 2017. 16-17, I always start mine in July. I have a ruler. This is an older ruler from one of my other older life planners, but we'll use it for washi tape. And then I have my friction pens and highlighters, very, very important. And also I have a Sharpie pen. You will notice that rarely do I use Sharpie pens, but today we're going to do things that will require permanency. So if you've never seen a teacher planner before, they are larger than the life planners, which I like. They do, however, come with the same pouch on coil clips, so you actually put the sticker on yourself, the coil clip on yourself, and then can move it wherever you like. Cover's very similar. We're gonna skip this page for now because I'll go back and fill that in. Actually pretty steady and similar to what a teacher would. I don't need the substitute and volunteer pages, but there's not much. This is probably one of the only pages that I just skip. Then dates, and then we get to the happy birthday tab and the absentee. So this is the first place where I start altering. I find that it's really, really important to have washi tape when you are altering your teacher planners. This is a fun tape, purple sparkly, just for me, because the teacher planner is one of the few places that is just for me. Let's see, we are going to, it's got a little bit of a jagged edge, so I'm going to use this to straighten up the edge, tearing backwards. That makes it a little easier. And then, peel up. We're going to put it up here. Now we're going to completely cover everything but the lines. We're going to leave the lines, and we're going to do both pages. Let's see. And I like to overlap just a little. Makes me feel better, gives us a nice transition. And then we're going to put one more strip. Oh, I like the purple. I like the purple sparkly. Last year I used black sparkly, so I'm super happy with purple sparkly. This year purple is my favorite color after black. There we go. Smooth it down. Make sure it's straight. And then we're going to come back and do the exact same thing on this page. And we want the lines because what we're going to use these pages for is list. And I find as a homeschool mom, I have lots and lots and lots of lists that I need to keep track of. Especially with 3 children that I'm homeschooling. My 2 older boys attend a tutoring center 1 day a week. Well, my oldest one will go 2 days a week because he'll attend 2 different tutoring centers. My younger daughter, she is going into 2nd grade. I homeschool her. Last year I homeschooled her exclusively. This year she's going to attend a study center co-op type thing to take musical theater and a couple of other reading classes to kind of help her with her reading. Let's turn that way. Come on, little hands. There we go. Okay, so once I have these done, I am actually going to go back in the very back where my stickers are, and I'm going to look for, they always have it, duty, IEP, holiday, where is it? Field trip and library. So I'm going to take my field trip tab and come back this way and put it at the top. Let's see, hold my place and put it right up here at the top of my washi tape. And this will become my field trip record. And then on this page, I keep a record of what library books my daughter reads. And so we're actually going to do 2 library pages because now that she's in 2nd grade, we are hopefully going to be going to the library a lot more, and also she'll be doing a lot. So we have field trip on this side, library on this side, and then, let's see, that's 2 pages. We're on to the graph pages. So I usually use the graph pages for my basic things. I use it to give myself an idea of what my typical day looks like. I might do my schedule. I write on it as if it's lines. So there's really nothing I alter about those pages. The Plan Your Year, long range planning. Again, as a homeschool mom, I do a lot of long range planning. I also am responsible for, because I love it, planning field trips for some people in our area, friends. We have a lot of homeschool moms and dads, and so I'll plan field trips for all of us to go on. I will use these pages to plan my field trips. One will be for when we actually go on the field trips, and this will be kind of my yearly plan to say, okay, if we go here in July, here in June, here in October, how does everything fall out? Like, for instance, I know we'll do a pumpkin field trip towards the end of September, beginning of October. We'll do a strawberry field trip and pick strawberries somewhere in the March-April timeframe. So those are the fun things that I'll use that for. And then I just have more note pages. Again, these are blank, perfect for a homeschooling mom. Then we get to the months. As I believe I said before, I start in July. That is when my school year starts. In the state of Georgia, we have the freedom to set our own school years as long as they are 12 months and our students go for 180 days. We can actually do that in any way that we want. So mine runs from July 1st to June 30th. And this is the first year. One of the major differences between life planners and teacher planners is the teacher planners have no dates whatsoever. So this year, I purchased something special. This year, I purchased date dots. Date dots are currently $6. They came free with my teacher planner, but I didn't realize that, so I had purchased an extra pack. Absolutely, positively worth it. They color coordinate. You go in and put the dots down. Now, you will notice that my month starts with 31. That is because I do not like to do the half days. I need a full block for all my days. So I start with the first, go all the way through, and then my 31st is up here. I like the fact that they are big boxes. I already put my first day thing in. We will start on July 11th. That will be the first day that my daughter will officially start her 2nd grade year. There is a calendar down here, and you'll notice it has both 2016 and 2017. That way, if I'm putting in, like I did 2016, my first started here, but if you were doing 2017, you could use the date dots and just move everything over one. Each month page comes with 1, 2, 3 different pages of notes. I will use these to make specific overarching plans. Like, for instance, my daughter will be attending a fine arts camp the 11th through the 15th at our church. I will use this to help me record what she does at the camp, what I need to do for the camp, and those sorts of things. So we have August, and I love how the dots coordinate with the months. September, purple, my second favorite color. October, nice blue for November for my birthday. I'm right here. And then I love that December isn't super Christmassy. It's just shades of green. I can't even explain to you how happy this makes me. Let's see, January, and we're into 2017 now. February, March, April, May, and then we end in June. I will say that it took me about 25 minutes to put all of these date dot stickers on. And some of them are a little crooked, which would bother me if I look at them, but I'm not going to look at them very long. So give yourself time to put the date dot stickers on. That is not a quick thing. However, it is really nice. I was a little frustrated last year trying to get all the things written correctly I didn't like the way it turned out. One of the things that I liked about the change this year is that last year, and I'm going to show you last year's October. Last year, the boxes were wider, but they only went Monday through Friday. Your Saturday, Sunday, you had tiny boxes over here. This year, and we'll look at October so you can compare month to month. You'll look at October, there it goes. October. Every box is the same size and there's a note section. So we've gone from the slightly wider boxes and small weekends to every day being the same size. Now I like this because a lot of times my children will go on field trips on Saturday, and for a homeschool kid that counts as a day of school, just like when a public school child goes on a field trip. Or we might have a weekend activity where we go out of town for the weekend and stay someplace educational. So I'll be able to count Friday, Saturday, Sunday as school days, but it's hard when I have tiny little boxes and couldn't record everything that I needed to. So I like the fact that this year I feel like it's even more accessible for homeschool parents because it's giving us all 7 days as equal, which a lot of homeschool parents will tell you is an important thing. We are going to skip on. This is my dashboard. It is an extra thing that I purchased, which I love, and it gives me a big space to write with wet erase or dry erase markers. I keep my dashboard in between my monthly calendars and my actual lesson plans. That way when the book is closed, if I'm trying to do something in the lesson plan section, I can just reach down, grab it, and flip open and already be in the lesson plan section. So this is what a week in the lesson plan looks like. It has a place to put your week number, your subject periods, and then your days go down like this. Now, obviously there is no weekend down here. At times, if I'm actually doing a lesson on the weekends, I will just use this box kind of up and down, and I'll put a strip of washi tape here and just do the weekend right here. I use my weekends, if it's not for a field trip special event, I use my weekends to catch up. And hopefully my daughter is doing her work on the days, and so we don't have to do a lot of catch up, but it gives us those 2 days of flexibility. So for me, I always leave the first page blank. It's a personal thing. This is what our week 1 looks like. I have fine arts camp, and this is the times that she'll be at camp, also the performance on the last day. History, I have that right here. I have gone through, our history is on, there's a book, but then you can actually listen to the book being read to you. So we'll listen to the CD in the car, and all my children will get to have history with my 2nd grader. I'm sure my high schoolers are gonna love it. So we'll listen, and then I have review questions. I've kind of broken that out. Then reading, and I've broken that out, and math. Now, obviously, if she's in fine arts camp for 3 hours a day and she has a performance on Friday night, these are the most important subjects to me. This is not a full school day. This is a abbreviated school day, unabbreviated school day to go with our fine arts camp. Over here are the dates. I like how there's a little room underneath it. I'll show you in just a few minutes how I use that for special events and things. If I was doing more than one child, what I do is use 3 of my friction pens. These right here. Grace Olivia, go, she would be the darker blue. That's what I started her in. And then I would use a different color under the same subjects for my younger son. I have 2 more years before I have to start worrying about Coleman being old enough to also be in my planner. So let's see, let's skip ahead. This is, let's skip ahead to week 3. Here you can see that I still have history, reading, handwriting, math. I am not overly concerned with where I put each subject because they change every week. Sometimes we'll be super focused on math, sometimes we'll be super focused on reading. Once August comes and she starts attending the co-op and taking musical theater and, writing there, we'll have extra things that she'll need to do, or science with my husband, who's a science teacher, as his second job. we'll have those things to put in. I like to use down here for if there's an event. I do not put all my events in here. That's what my life planner's for. But if there is something that's going to happen that is going to affect my ability to spend time with her, such as they're all going to the dentist. Now, when I say all my children are going to the dentist, that means I have 5 children who will be sitting in dental chairs starting at 9 a.m. We're not getting out of there in 30 minutes. I know that that is going to cause us to have less time to school that day. Plus, even though my children like the dentist, we have a great dentist, it means that we're going to have a little bit of a struggle getting out of the house early and all that kind of thing. So I try to plan for those days, and we're not going to do any handwriting that day because that is her most difficult subject. I know that, so we're just not going to do it that day. Flexibility of homeschooling. We'll listen to chapter 1 from our history in the car. We did the introductions the first 2 weeks. Now we're into chapter 1. We'll listen to it in the car because I know we're going to be in the car driving to and from the dentist. We live 20 minutes away from the dentist. And then I gave her an art project. So she's I try to be a little flexible, but look at those things. Again, down here, Friday, we take the dogs to the vet at 9 a.m. I have 2 dogs and they weigh 85 pounds each. I can't even take them to the vet at the same time. I literally put one in the car, drive to the vet, do the checkup, bring that dog home, get the other dog, take it to the vet, have her checkup, bring her home. They're on the same day. They're technically at the same time. We only live 5 minutes away from the vet. But the vet knows that that's not going to work to try to get them both in the car and get them there both at the same time. So again, knowing that, I give myself room, and I really give her room because it is so hard as a homeschooling mom, and probably with regular public school and private school teachers too. I just don't have experience in that, so I can't speak for them. It is so hard as a homeschooling mom to put high expectations when you're setting yourself up for failure. There's no way on these days that we could do the same amount of work that we'll do on the days when we're sitting at home. So, and then down here, I always plan catch-up days for myself. This Thursday, I planned a catch-up for history because sometimes life happens. I can't predict events through August 5th. Sometimes life's going to happen. I'm going to make sure that I have one day for review catch-up and then another day for review catch-up. This is for review catch-up. And down here is Maggie's birthday. We have a Maggie. Some people don't have Maggies. We have a Maggie. She turns 21. She lives in our house. We love her. She's like one of our own. And so this is going to be a pretty important day for us. Basically, I'm expecting her to do 2 pages in her sight words book. And then if she's all caught up, she won't have any history or handwriting. And place to value, which is her math book, she'll review, catch up, and finish the book. But it's really just a catch-up day. Because what we're going to be doing this day, I can tell you right now, because we have a Maggie and it's her birthday, is decorating Megan's room. We're going to be fixing her a special dinner. We're going to be doing all sorts of fun things because birthdays are a big deal in my house. I think that is the one day a year that we really get to celebrate someone just for the contributions they give to our family, and we like to honor that person. So I try to make sure that the birthdays are along with other days that affect your timing, that birthdays are really set aside for just a few minor things, and then being a family, because being a family is fun. And then we're going to skip back here to checklist. There is a large student checklist. There are so many student checklist pages because this is meant to also be a grade book, which I think is great for public school and private school teachers. For homeschool parents, we don't need these type of checklists. That is not something that really works for us. However, I do a lot of field trip planning. So for me, I'm going to use these as field trips. I will be able to write down the field trip right here, and then the children's name or the family name along this, and then a little check mark or paid or a number. For instance, my sister has 2 children that she homeschools. If we went to the Mayfield Dairy Farm, I would write last year. This year, I would write Mayfield Dairy Farm and then put my sister's name, Boo Sheep, and put 2 because she has 2 kids, or 3 because she's coming and paying because she wants to eat a delicious ice pop also. They're allergic to dairy. That's why they don't eat ice cream. But anyway, That's important to know. Everyone else got ice cream. I got a cherry popsicle though, and I have to tell you, if you guys are in Georgia and you get a chance to go to the Mayfield Dairy and take the tour, it is super cool to see how they make their milks and their sweet teas. They actually make the milk for lots of the public and private schools around. Very cool. And then after the tour, they have a little shop where you can check out really cool merchandise, and then you get a free cup of ice cream. Pick any of their Mayfield flavors, and they have a lot of flavors. And this thing's huge. Most people couldn't finish their first ice cream. My 14-year-old son finished 3 ice creams, but that's another story for another day. So we have those checklists, and I will use most of those for field trip planning, and also sometimes I'll use them for American Heritage Girls, which is a scouting organization that I'm in charge of if I'm doing something where I'm planning an event. But I tend to use these for event planning. And when I'm using them, for instance, if I use, let's see, there are a lot of checklist pages. I think they do a really good job of making sure teachers have enough. This year is purple, so we're going to cover up this. I'm going to go ahead and cover up name also, because who knows what we'll use it as. Let's see, the first page, I like that there's lots of lines that I can measure with. Let's see. And I just like the purple sparkle. Isn't it always fun to just add a little bit of sparkle to your life? And on those days when I'm saying, I really don't want to do schoolwork, because sometimes we all have those days. That has nothing to do with what type of school we go to. I think sometimes everybody says, I don't want to do schoolwork. My husband sometimes says, I don't want to do real work. Let's see, do that. And then I'm going to come back and find the field trip stickers that we had before, right here, and stick that right in the middle. There we go. That gives us 2 pages of field trips. If I look, sometimes I like to look as a homeschooling mom at what do we have here that I can use because I need it for an entire page. Another one of those is testing. My children test once a year. It is not required, but I like to see where they are. So I am going to come, I think I'm going to use one of my graph pages actually. I think I'm going to do some washi tape up here and do a testing page. And this is where I will put all the notes and results and things like that from her testing. We have some great moms that proctor the exams and a great church that supports us and allows us to test. So the kids have a place to come together and all test together once a year. Let's see, put that there, and testing. There are lots of blank stickers, which I always appreciate the fact that Erin Condren gives you plenty of blank stickers. Let's put testing right here. That'll be my testing page. And then let's see what other stickers we have. Oh, I have my washi tape off. I do not have assemblies. I don't do IEPs. I'm always on duty because when you're the only person teaching, you are. We don't have staff meetings. Oh, can I have a staff meeting with myself? Coffee, talk to myself out loud? Great. I don't get furlough. Holidays are holidays. Let's see. Don't really need reminders. Don't give progress reports. Don't have benchmarks. We do tests, so I'll use the rest of these stickers actually in the planner on the days when we test. My kids always use computer labs. Again, conferences. Do I get to conference with myself? Library stickers, excellent. Maybe I'll use those for the months. We don't do emergency drills. And then I have a few more field trip stickers. And then no one comes and observes me. Although if they do, they probably try to give me a white coat. So that is our stickers, and they gave us lots and lots of stickers this year. Always like that. And our checklist. And then we have the full pocket and the half pocket. And then there are these. I always get 3 of these. They are excellent to slide in. My youngest 2 children will be attending preschool. This allows me to print out their calendar and slide it in and be able to flip through. This is where my oldest son is attending 1 day a week. Between all the children, I have 1 public school, 1 college, 3 homeschool co-ops, and a preschool that I have to keep track of. So that's 6. And that is why I get 3, so I can put 1 on each side. And then the back is the dashboard again. So that is how I use my teacher planner and alter it for homeschooling. Have a great day. Bye.